Picture working with one of your favorite clients. Do you remember how it felt like magic? The process was so smooth. You had creative freedom to push boundaries. They even paid you on time and gave you a glowing review. Then there are others. Exhausting, unprofitable, constant pushback, totally misaligned. Dream clients aren't just anyone with a budget. They're ones that love working with you and you love working with them. They experience real, meaningful transformation and they're willing to pay you what you're worth. And if you want more of them, then start intentionally building a magnetic brand that will attract more of your dream clients. Where your architecture brand could pull out the right people and filter out the wrong ones. Hi, I'm Daniel Patterson, formerly an award-winning RABA Part 1 now. I run a branding agency called Highly. We've helped hundreds of businesses across the world increase their value and attract better clients. Now I'm on a mission to revitalize the architecture industry by helping equip architects and architecture leaders like you to build an unforgettable brand and win better clients. Here's the thing that I see most architects miss. In order to get better clients and more of them, it's not simply about casting a wider net. It's about strengthening your pool. Too often I see architects aggressively competing for tenders and frameworks in order to get any work at all. But the truth is, to scale your firm, you don't need stacks of new clients. What you need are the right ones. If you seem to be attracting bad fit clients that burn your time and waste your energy, demand discounts, then it's actually probably not a marketing problem. It's probably not even a brand identity problem either. The problem you have is clarity of brand. Dream clients, the ones that respect your process, love you and your work, the ones that tell everyone about you and pay what you deserve. They're not won by brute force. They're not won by you trying to dig your hands in and pull them out. Instead, they are drawn to your brand. And if you get your brand right, you should be able to get a lot more of them with less effort. The pull that a good brand has on dream clients is one of an emotional pull. It draws them in emotionally and connects emotionally. So, how exactly do we do that? Well, the first step is to first define the type of client that you're trying to attract in the first place. A magnet can't pull everybody. It's targeted, and that's exactly the way your brand needs to be as well. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to define your dream client and how to make it effortlessly pull more of your dream clients in. So we've done a little bit of exploring already about what it means to build a magnetic brand to attract dream clients. But what are dream clients? Why is it so important? Well, let's dive into that a little bit. Dream clients are not going to be the same for everybody. In fact, your firm's dream clients are going to be different from your competitors' dream clients. But when we break this down, what exactly is it that I mean by dream clients? Well, dream clients, in my view, hold three specific attributes. And the first element is pretty simple: highly profitable. Clients that are in your dream client category should be highly profitable. If you're not making good money from these types of clients, then you've got no room to grow, you've got no room to scale. Simply put, they are not valuing your time enough for you to make good money from it. And it's like the end game here is not all about money, and I appreciate that, but it is about enabling you to build a business that you can do with what you want. The second category and the second element here to look at, your dream clients are your biggest advocates. They are the people that are telling their like-minded colleagues, people in the network, and they're telling other people, you've got to check out this architect, come with me, without any incentive from you. Biggest advocacy is absolutely what we're looking for. So we want people who are advocates. We want people who are highly profitable. What's this third category to fill up our triangle? I'm saying highly joyful. These are people who you love working with and who love working with you. You want to make sure that you can identify groups of people who tick all three of these boxes. So highly profitable, we understand that. Biggest advocates, we probably understand why that's a good idea to have them in our corner. But highly joyful as the third category, why is that important? Well, simply put, if you're wanting to scale and grow a business, if somebody called your phone outside of working hours and it was your client and you saw their name coming up on your phone, would you sulk, take a big deep breath before you answered the call, or even let it go to voicemail? In which case, that does not tick the joy category. Or is it someone who you're excited to see turn up on your phone and you're going to pick it up and be really excited and it's going to give you lots of energy to work with? That is a joyful category and type of person. And not only for you, but as you grow and scale your business and brand, it's really important that you're able to find a group of people who you can appeal to in order to build an internal culture within your firm so that that group of people bring joy to as many people in your firm as possible. Because the more joy that you have in there, the deeper the level of emotional connection you and your clients are going to have with one another, which in turn then increases advocacy from your clientele. It's not just about money. It's not just about advocacy. Joy is really one of those key cornerstones that's easily overlooked. Now, what I'm saying here, or should I say what I'm not saying here, is that you have to exclusively only work with these three categories of people, or this category of people that hold all three. What I am saying is that you will want to build a brand like our magnet here that attracts and appeals many more people that fit that category of three. We don't want to just cast a big wide net and hope for the best. We want to build a brand that's a magnet to the type of people you want to connect to. So before you get all excited and start making changes on your brand, let me first show you how to identify your dream client, or at least help you confirm that the dream client you have identified is the right type of client you're trying to build your brand around. And to do that, I'm going to look at the Dream Client Discovery tool here. The first thing I'd encourage you to do is identify the groups of people you're already working with. I'm going to use the Dream Client Discovery tool here to write a list out of 8 different types of clients. I'll be back in a second. Okay, that should do it. So I've written out 8 different types of people, categorizing them by groups as such, like private school boards expanding campus facilities, or tech startup founders building creative workshops, or local authorities planning regeneration master plans. Be really specific about how you can categorize your groups of people into what would be a fairly small but viable group of people if you were to try to find more of them. Do not, whatever you do, be really generalist here. Don't tell me retail is your dream client or residential. Be specific, because you wouldn't want to work with every retail client going or every residential client. What types of people would you actually want to work with, or maybe that you're already working with, that come up fairly regularly and you'd like to see more of them? Okay, once you've written down 8 or so, I'd encourage you to move on to the second question, which is a similar one to the first, which is write a list of people types that you would love to do more work for. What types of groups of people, if you could only work with them, would you love to work with? Write them into your list, future 1 to future 8 here in my case. Okay, I'm going to fill this out. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I now have a good list of 16 types of groups of people. I'd suggest do a similar amount yourself. Don't stop after 3. Keep going. Get a good sample going, at least 10 groups of people. And once you've done that, I want you to score each of those types or groups of people against 3 criteria. We're going to look at our triangle essentially from our dream client. And we're looking at, first of all, transformation, second of all, profitable, and third, joy. Right, let me just explain the first one before we dive into this. One of the categories of our dream client triangle was biggest advocacy. Now, how do we know who's going to become our biggest advocates? That's very difficult to try and quantify or qualify and associate with a group of people rather than the specific people we've worked for. So instead, we're going to take a slightly different tact, a different angle at identifying ways and attributes of people who usually do become your biggest advocates. And the number one that, from our experience working with hundreds of businesses, is your biggest advocates are those who experience the highest level of transformation. I'm going to say that again. Your biggest advocates are those who experience the highest level of transformation. Now, that transformation could be emotional. It could be a physical transformation. Ultimately, what you're looking to do is identify the groups and types of people who you can wildly over-deliver from their initial expectations. They're expecting X, and you give them X times 100. Not because you're giving them more, but because you're superseding transformation. If we were looking at it from a perspective of a dentist, the highest level of transformation comes from clients who are experiencing the highest level of pain. If my tooth has got a massive abscess in it, I'm not going to be convinced to take a few painkillers and walk away. No, the highest level of transformation comes by sitting in that chair for half an hour and getting some dental procedure done to remove the cause or the root of that problem. To which point that pain is relieved, maybe permanently. That is an exceptionally high level of transformation. We're not covering something over. You're bringing extraordinary transformation. Again, it could be physical, could be transformational. It is transformational. It could be emotional. It could be financial. Whatever way it is, try and identify where are you uniquely positioned as an architecture firm to deliver and over-deliver on the expectations of a particular group of people. Now, what we're doing is we're going to go back into our dream client list here, and we're going to look at the groups of people you're currently working with and the groups of people that you would like to work with. And we're going to score them on a likelihood of being able to deliver a high level of transformation. So this first category, private school boards expanding campus facilities. That might be mid-level transformation. Developers of high-end urban mixed-use schemes. Actually, that's something you might be exceptionally good at delivering, in which case it's high. Anyway, go through that list, score each of these categories of people, and be really honest about your ability to actually deliver that transformation. And don't stop until you've got both the clients you work with and the clients you'd love to work with completed. And in the same vein, and while you're at it, have those 2 other columns filled out as well. Go down the profitable column and identify, are these groups of people highly profitable? Are they somewhere in the middle, or are they low or even very low margins with this type of work? This should be a fairly easy category to answer. For the people you would like to work with, there's going to be a little bit of speculation, or use ChatGPT or an AI system, or phone some of these types of clients up and ask them some questions if you want to be really accurate about it. For this exercise, we'll be hypothetical for that category. And last but not least, if this person was going to give you a phone call outside of working hours, how big is your smile going to be on your face? Is it going to be of a very high level of joy, or is it going to be very low? Go ahead, fill that all out, and then we'll come back in a second. Okay, now that we've completed all 3 columns for every one of our current clients and future clients that we would like to work with, the way that we're going to measure who our dream clients are most likely to be are those that are going to be scoring the highest. So in this case, if very high scored 5 and very low scored 1, then you could score each of these rows, and the highest score is the one that's going to be most likely to be your dream client. On the Dream Client Discovery tool here, however, we've done it for you. So in this case, I've been able to identify for my hypothetical architecture firm that our dream clients are manufacturers or logistic firms planning headquarter campuses. And for good measure, a second category and a third category to be backed up with might be private school boards expanding campus facilities and educational trusts upgrading early childhood facilities. Now, the question that I would have for you now as an architecture leader and someone who's responsible for the brand of your organization is, what do you do with this information now? Now that you've identified your dream client, and not just identified, but being really specific about identifying your dream client, you can now come back to your pool of potential clients and you could figure out how you're going to design your communications, even re-looking at your brand identity and the services that you offer in order to align and build a brand that will attract exactly those types of people. So if we're trying to attract manufacturers of logistic firms or logistic firms planning headquarter campuses, it makes sense for us not just to try and be reasonably specific, but instead be uber targeted with a really, really strong magnet and build our architecture firm exactly communicating very specifically to the needs and purposes of that very group of people. In which case, this becomes a super, super strong brand and super magnet that will capture even more of that type of people out of the vast array of potential clients out there. So now you know how to identify your dream client. You know how to build a brand that's going to attract more of your dream clients. It's time to now start getting out there and finding pools where your dream clients are most likely to be showing up. Because when you do show up, even if there are lots of competitors out there, if your brand is the strongest magnet, it almost doesn't matter how many other competitors are there, really. And it doesn't matter how much you charge. If your brand is really magnetic to that specific type of client, you're going to be winning a lot more business with the most profitable, most joyous people who are going to experience the highest level of transformation and become your biggest advocates. Your brand will have the opportunity to go from here up to there in record time by aligning all those assets that you have specifically for your dream clients. If you'd like your very own copy of the Dream Client Discovery Tool, then just head over to the link in the description below, fill out your email address, and I'll send you a copy immediately. And once you've identified your dream client, then come back here to this video and click on the comments below and let me know, who did you identify as your dream client? I look forward to hearing from you as soon as I get all these clients off my brand.